Hello everyone, welcome back to this 10 weeks Python. We are in chapter 5 and we have seen what is class and object in our previous video, how to create a class and the object of that class. Now today we are going to see inheritance, that what is inheritance and how we can perform inheritance. Okay, so first of all, inheritance is the fundamental concept in object-oriented programming. Oops, means inheritance in the fundamental concept of the object-oriented programming. Okay. Now, what does inheritance does? So, the basic rule of inheritance that it allows us to create a new class and that inherits the attributes and methods from the existing class. Okay. Means the methods and attributes that are already present in some existing classes that can be inherited in a newly created class. Okay. That is inheritance. Or in simple language, you can say that inheriting the property or methods from one class to another class. It can also be known as inheritance. Okay. Now, the existing class is often referred to as the base class, parent class, or superclass. It means the existing class, the class in which the attributes, properties, and methods are already present, and we want to inherit the particular methods or attributes to the newly created class. So that classes are can be also known as base classes, parent classes, or superclasses. Okay. Now, while the new classes is called derived class, child class, or subclass, means the new classes in which we want to inherit the uh, the methods which are present in the existing class. That classes are known as derived class, child class, or you can say a subclass. Okay. Now, inheritance promotes code reusability as if some program we have created in one class, so we don't need to create another program for the same thing. We will just inherit that property of the existing class to the newly created class. So in this way, code reusability can be accessed or we can say enabled by the use of inheritance. Okay. Then and the creation of it also promotes the creation of hierarchical structure of classes, means it just creates the classes in the hierarchical structure, so it becomes easier for us to understand which class is for which thing and which class is inheriting which class. Okay. Now, syntax, what is the syntax of inheritance, how we can inherit it? So basically, for inheriting, the minimum we need is two classes. One will be the base class, and we know how to create a class using the class keyword. Then you'll give the name of our class, that is the base class, followed by the colon, and then we'll give our attributes and methods inside our class. Now, how we will inherit these methods and attributes present in our base class? So for that, first you have to create our new class in which we want to inherit the methods. So for that, we will again create a class using the class keyword. Then you will give our derived class name. Now, in the parentheses, what we will do, we will just write the base class, the class from which we want to inherit the methods or the attributes. We'll write the name of that class inside this parenthesis. Then followed by the colon, and then we'll give our additional attributes and methods. Now, what is this additional attributes and methods? It means that we can give our unique, in our derived class, we can give our unique methods and attributes also. Means it's not necessary that this derived class will always be inheriting these attributes and methods which are present in the base class. No, the derived class can create our own additional attributes and methods also. Okay. Now, this was the syntax. Now, what is the base class? Also known as the parent class or superclass. This is the class that provides the common attributes and methods that are inherited by one or more derived classes. It means that this base class provides us the attributes and methods which are inherited by other classes. It can be one or more derived classes. It is not necessary that uh, one base class can be inherited in only only one derived class. No, it can be inherited in multiple derived classes also. Okay. Okay, this was the definition of the base class. Now, what is the derived class? A derived class is also known as the child class or subclass. This is the class that inherits the attribute and methods from the base class. Means it this is the class which inherits other class methods and attributes in in its own class. Okay, so this is known as child class or subclass. Now, it can also have its own unique attributes and method. Means it's not necessary that it will only inherit it. It can have its own attributes and methods also, and it can inherit also. Okay. Now, a derived class can extend or override the behavior of the base class. Now, what does it mean? Now, this line means that the derived class can extend or override the behavior of the base class. Means it can change the, suppose there is a function present in the base class, so it can uh, change the behavior. Means suppose that class is printing something, so it can change the output also, or it can take, means the same name of that class will be created in the derived class also, and the behavior of the class which is created in the derived class can be different also. Okay. Now we'll see this with example. So for example, I'm just taking a father son example. So there is a class father, then I'm taking a method f1. Now I'll just simply print that I am the father. Now, for the inheritance, we have to create one more class. So I'll create a son. Now, I have to inherit this father class into the son class. So I'll just take the parenthesis. Inside the parenthesis, I'll write the name of the father class, and then followed by the colon, I'll just give the name, create a method. Then I'll print that I am the, okay, beside the double quotes, I have to print I am the son. And then we have to create, obviously, when we have created a class, then we have to create the object also. Now, I'll create the object of son. Now, this obj is the object of our son class. And now, I'll call the f1 and I'll call the s1 both, and I'll execute my code. And you will see that I am the father and I am the son, both has been printed. Why? Because we have inherited this base class into this child class son. So what is happening, that when we have inherited the father class into the son class, then when we have created the object of the son class, what is happening, this son class have the power that it can call the method of this father class also, and of its own also. Means it can call this f1 method also, which is present in this father class, and it can call the s1 method also, which is present in its own class. Okay. So this is the simple example of the inheritance. So that's it for this video. We'll talk about the types of inheritance in the next video. Okay.